Live. Hey guys, what's going on? James here, and the title says itself. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers have fired head coach Dirk Koetter. Let me go ahead and close my door real quick, and then we can start discussing things. Oh man. Yeah, so the Tampa Bay Buccaneers have fired head coach Dirk Koetter in a move that is really surprising to no one at all. This is not really surprising under any circumstances. I just made my video a little bit ago talking about it, saying that, he is probably more likely than not going to be fired. They just made it official. Everybody's reported it. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers have made a statement about it, which I will read right now. It's Black Sunday. Yep, Black Monday is not here. Ethan's here. David's here. Sunsport's here. There we go, everybody. What is going on? Starting it off early, and I'll be keeping you guys updated here while we talk about some of this stuff. So, statement from Bucs ownership real quick. We sincerely appreciate the hard work and commitment shown by Dirk Koetter over the past several years. Working with Dirk has been a pleasure, and we wish him and his family all the best in the future. I'm sure there's a little bit more to it, but that's pretty much the gist of it. You guys can understand. So Buccaneers Super Bowl champs here. Sun Sports, Ethan, David, Ronson. What's up, my friend? Jaloma. Hello, Jaloma. How are you? William. Hello, my friend. Bruce Arians. Who knows? Maybe. If you guys can read the title, it says Bucs have fired head coach Dirk Koetter. The search for a new coach begins now. Could not be any more accurate. The search for a new coach begins now. Now it's all up to speculation of what's going to happen. It's all up to speculation. So hello to everybody in here. Buck and A. Tommy, how are you, my friend? Trey O'Malley. Hello. Ethan. James, I made it. There we go. Easy the Great. Light should be fired too. Yeah. Tall guy. Black Sunday. It is. It's Black Sunday. Forget Black Monday. It's Black Sunday now. Where do we go from here, says Alpha Nickelberry. Good question. That is a darn good question. It's up in the air. It's up in the air right now. It's going to be hard to figure out. Starting the week on a high note, yeah. Again, like I said in my video, wish Dirk Koetter nothing but the best. He had some good offenses under us, but the wins just weren't there. Hello to everybody in here. Hello to all of you. Hello. Man, not really a shocking move under any circumstances, but, it's a big deal. This is a big deal. This is definitely a big deal. Search will be conducted by General Manager Jason Light, this says in the Buccaneers statement. Let me see if I can pull up the whole thing. If I can pull up the whole statement here and I can read it for you guys. Okay, so here it is. So we sincerely appreciate the hard work and commitment shown by Dirk Koetter over the past several years. Working with Dirk has been a pleasure, and we wish him and his family all the best in the future. Our search for a new head coach will begin immediately and will be conducted by General Manager Jason Light. Which, to me, I know a lot of people might not like that, which is fine. That's understandable. But for everybody who wants Bruce Arians, you got to assume that Jason Light is going to try really hard to get Bruce Arians now, right? We can assume that. We can 100% assume that. So, this will be interesting. This will definitely be interesting. There's a lot of options out there from the Harbaugh brothers. There's been teams rumored to try and trade for John Harbaugh, and then there's also been rumors that the Buccaneers are in contact with Jim Harbaugh from Michigan. Those two are probably going to be really hot options. The Bucs have also had connections to Mike McCarthy, and I don't know if they've necessarily had the most connections to Bruce Arians, but regardless, there's a lot of big options out there, and I'm seeing a lot of you guys talking about some of your options right now. Buck and Tommy says that he wants the Bucs to trade for John Harbaugh. That'd be an interesting thing. Talking real quick on that option is, the Bucs have not been afraid to trade for a head coach before. The last time they did it, they traded for John Gruden. That worked out pretty well for them, but you got to remember the kind of draft compensation the Bucs had to give up to get a guy like John Gruden. I believe it was 2 first-round draft picks, 2 second-round draft picks, a third-round draft pick, and cash considerations. And John Harbaugh had not even won, John Gruden had not even won a Super Bowl then. John Harbaugh has a more impressive resume than John Gruden did at that time. So you'd have to give up a ton to get a guy like John Harbaugh in terms of trading the Baltimore Ravens for him. Um, it still could happen. It still could 100% happen, but who knows? A lot of people are saying that Dirk Cutter's a better coordinator, but thanks for trying. Dirk Cutter, I will say this: Dirk Cutter is one heck of an offensive-minded guy. That guy can run some really good offenses, but at the same time, it was also shown that Todd Monken can also run some really good offenses as well. So Dirk kind of lost that last chip that he had. Necessarily he went all in and he ended up losing. I mean, it makes sense. Um, why at certain points this season Dirk Cutter would take that play calling back. He wanted to prove that the offense could be even better under him rather than Todd Monken, but it wasn't the case. So Dirk kind of lost his last negotiating point, so to speak, in terms of having him be kept, because you can say like, okay, well, the losses were there, but hey, at least the offense was good. But this offense was under Todd Monken this year. It wasn't under Dirk Cutter, so he lost that last negotiating point. So it is what it is. Another thing that happened was, I believe the Pittsburgh Steelers lost? Is that what you guys are saying, that the Pittsburgh Steelers had lost? If that's the case, maybe Mike Tomlin will get fired. I'm not going to say anything on that. I personally don't think he'll be fired, but we'll wait and see. A lot of people have expressed their interest in guys like Lincoln Riley, college coaches. Steelers won. Okay, so there you go. Now Tomlin's definitely probably not going to be fired then. So yeah, Steelers won. There you go. A lot of people want a defensive-minded coach, which I can completely understand. John Harbaugh would have been the perfect fit, but he's not going anywhere. It was so depressing because they like kind of teased it. They kind of teased it by saying, earlier on in the season they teased it by saying that John Harbaugh and the Ravens were more likelier than not going to part ways. Not happening. Pulled a fast one on us. It's all smoke and mirrors. So, not really the case. And plus the Ravens did really good this year, so it is what it is. But it's in terms of overall defensive options, you don't necessarily have a lot of head coaches out there, potentially like former head coaches or current head coaches out there who are defensive minded. You would kind of have to probably look towards coordinators. The two biggest guys that I've seen a lot of Bucs fans wanting is Chris Richard, the defensive backs coach from the Dallas Cowboys, which Tommy just mentioned, and then also Vic Fangio, the current defensive coordinator for the Chicago Bears. Those are two of the top defensive-minded options out there right now for Bucs fans, which, keep an eye on those two because you never know. It's going to be a really long process for sure. It should be interesting. I expect the Bucs to really have a lengthy process, especially Jason Light, since it is pretty much determined that he is the one conducting this. I really think he's going to take his time and try and make the absolute perfect hire. The Glaziers, they do like having those big splashier type moves, which, could very well happen. It seems a little bit different than what Jason Light likes to do. Jason Light kind of looks like he likes to make the low-key kind of moves and really reward people for doing good things. So it's a little bit different philosophy there. We'll see which one wins out. Tommy just asked me if I had to pick who would I want as the head coach. If I had to pick from all the people that we could hypothetically get, I would maybe pick Bruce Arians. I think that would be the 100% safest pick. It would also be the more perfect fit. Bruce Arians has known Jameis Winston since he was in 9th grade. He has a history with not only Jameis Winston, but Jason Light and Brenston Buckner, the defensive line coach. They were all in Arizona together, so that would also make perfect sense as well. So he might be my pick. He might be my pick, if only because it would be such a perfect fit. He would also be a really big help in the development of Jameis Winston, I feel, as well. We've seen that having just an offensive guy to help develop Jameis Winston hasn't really worked. Lovie Smith wanted Jameis Winston, and he was supposed to help work with Jameis Winston. That didn't work out. The reason they promoted Dirk Koetter from offensive coordinator to then head coach was because he was supposed to help develop Jameis Winston. That didn't work out either. So now what do? Bring in another guy who's supposed to help develop Jameis Winston? I think one of the best ways to help develop Jameis Winston is build the team around him, not just focus on Jameis Winston, focus on all the other aspects of the team. Offensive line being a big one and defense being the another big one. That's how you really help out Jameis Winston, I feel like, because you've tried twice now for bringing in guys who are focused solely on Jameis Winston. That hasn't worked twice in a row now, so I could see a shift, bringing in somebody who can help out Jameis Winston, but at the same time really work to build the rest of the team up, because the rest of the team will help Jameis Winston just as much. You know what I mean? That's what I think would be most helpful to Jameis. I think Jameis, he's had 4 years now to develop. I don't think bringing in a quarterback whisperer is going to be the big thing. I want a guy who not only can work with Jameis Winston, but somebody who can work with the rest of the team as well. And I think a guy like Bruce Arians would be perfect for that kind of role. And same with guys like Jim Harbaugh, John Harbaugh, among others. You know, that's what I think would be perfect. Yeah, see, Dimash, perfect. How about just a quality coach? Exactly. I don't think you need to bring in somebody who's specifically a quarterback guy. Just bring in a good overall coach, and things should be fine. You know, that's what I would see. In terms of the whole staff being gone as well, that one should be really interesting as well, because prior to this news of Dirk Koetter getting fired, a lot of his assistants' contracts were running out, guys like Todd Monken, among others. I don't expect much, if any, of this staff to come back. It's been 4 years now with around the same type of staff. Going back to even the last year of the Lovie Smith era. So I could see a complete wipe of this coaching staff. Just a complete clean slate. That's something I could see Jason Light coming in and doing. Just saying, all right, screw it. We're going to wipe everything, get rid of all the assistants, get rid of everything. I could see that happening. There is some value, though, to this current coaching staff and guys like Brinson Buckner and Todd Monken. But I think they are going to get better jobs elsewhere. I think Brinson Buckner, if he doesn't stay on this staff, I think he could get a defensive coordinator position somewhere else. And then in the case of Todd Monken, he could be an offensive coordinator somewhere. And I even think that he'll get some head coaching interviews in there as well. So really, I don't see much of this staff staying, if not because of the team needing to go with a clean slate, if only because the guys that we do have on the staff that are really good, they're probably going to get opportunities with other teams for greater positions than what they have on the Buccaneers right now. So that's kind of my overall thought of what's going to happen with all the assistants. It would make sense to me. Vernon Hargreaves III going crazy next year? I hope so, man. I hope so. Do you think we should keep the Duff Man? You know, I don't think so. Again, Mark Duffner, the Duffinator, he had some nice moments and all that, but I don't necessarily think that. Again, it's what I was just saying is I think it's going to be a clean slate. That's what I think it'll be. I think the new coach will just do a completely clean slate. I think Jason Light will want to do a complete clean slate as well. He's tried keeping some leftovers from certain regimes, and it just hasn't worked flat out. So that should be interesting. Again, Steven, yeah, we just need a fresh start. You know, it's been 4 years. We have not made significant progress, so it is what it is. It is what it is. Just looking here at the overall, yeah. So, okay, can confirm Buccaneers general manager Jason Light will return for the 2019 season. Of course he will. That was reported by Tampa Bay Trey of the Pewter Report. So, yes, of course, Jason Light's coming back. He's the one conducting the head coaching search. So, for everybody who wanted to get rid of Jason Light, he's staying. Jason Light's staying. Jameis Winston's staying. Dirk Koetter's gone. Pretty much what everybody thought it was going to be. It makes sense. It makes sense. Just looking through the news here a little bit. Yeah, Jason Light conducting the coaching search could lead to Bruce Arians. That's what somebody said. I have seen some people say that Bruce Arians probably won't come back to coaching because of his health concerns. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. Thank you guys for everybody liking the attire, the new jacket, and all that. I've worn it in a couple videos now and a couple live streams. I'm liking it. I'm doing good. I'm doing good, Nicholas. How you doing, my friend? But yeah, cleaning house, I think that's the way to go. Maybe not everything, Keith. Get rid of the water boys. Throw them out. A lot of head coaching options out there. You got Mike McCarthy. You've got Jim Harbaugh. I'm not going to count John Harbaugh. Mike McCarthy, Jim Harbaugh, Vic Fangio, Chris Richard. Bruce Arians is kind of more of the dream for a lot of Bucs fans. Make James the head coach? Never. Who do I want the Bucs to pick again? Who do I want the Bucs to pick in the draft? I'll answer that real quick. Offensive lineman till literally the end of the draft. Just pick offensive linemen. Yeah, Bruce's wife doesn't want him to coach again due to his health. Understandable. I have seen some people kind of get concerned saying he's too old, and I understand that concern as well, but you also have to remember Pete Carroll, he's 67, and he just signed a 3-year extension or a 4-year extension with the Seattle Seahawks. Coaches can coach into their 70s. Look at Tom Coughlin. He was there forever. And he was still out there winning games until his very last season, was when it finally was like, okay, too much. So I think, all things considered, if Bruce Arians' health can hold up, 4, 5, 6 years of Bruce Arians could be possible. That's all even considering if he wants to come to Tampa Bay. We have no idea. This literally just happened. It's all up in the air right now. It's pure speculation on our fan base's part. You know what I mean? But like I said, I'm in the camp of wanting somebody who is a defensive-minded coach to come in. A guy like Chris Richard, he's won a Super Bowl with the Seattle Seahawks, and then he's a disciple of Dan Quinn, who was also in Seattle at the time. He has then come to Dallas, and he's made the Cowboys one of the top defenses in the league right now. Chris Richard's really good, and he's pretty young too. I believe he's only 30-something, in his mid-30s, I believe. So he would kind of fit that system of bringing in a young coordinator or a young positional coach and giving them the head coaching job and see what they can do. It would kind of fit that kind of mold, So, yeah, it would be interesting. James, put your weight in on Captain Jack? Captain Jack? I'm not sure. Dirk didn't do a terrible job. His defense was horrible. One of the big things that was wrong with Dirk Koetter was his inability he waited too long to make certain changes. He 100% waited too long to make certain changes. The biggest one being Mike Smith. We can all agree Mike Smith's defense was really, really bad, and Dirk Koetter still refused to fire him until we absolutely had to. It was midway through the season, was when Dirk Koetter finally had to, and even said this was the second hardest thing he had to do in his coaching career. So, that was the biggest thing. That was one of the biggest things in my opinion, was keeping a guy like Mike Smith for as long as he did. Also not giving up playing calling duties and then taking him back. Dirk Cutter's weird stubbornness did not help him at all. And then the really bad quarterback situation he had this year as well, switching back and forth between Ryan Fitzpatrick, Jameis Winston. He didn't really keep that great of control of a locker room with guys like Deshaun Jackson running around and doing whatever they want to do. It was bad. He was almost rewarding Deshaun Jackson for his bad behavior. So it is what it is. Real quick, Justin Ballas, thank you for the $2 super chat. Greatly appreciated, my friend. What do I really think about keeping Jason Light? So keeping Jason Light, it's interesting because I presented this problem when I did a live stream with Rhett of the Cannon Fire podcast, and it was, it makes sense if you were going to clean slate with absolutely everything. If you were in a clean slate with absolutely everything, it would make perfect sense to replace everybody, Jason Light, Dirk Koetter, and then bring in people who, will just roll with Jameis for 1 year and figure out what they want to do with him after that 1 year. That would have made sense. The Buccaneers, to me, this shows that they really like Jason Light as the general manager a lot. There's even been some rumors going about that the Glazers might hire a team president this offseason. That might be interesting. Who knows? They could promote Jason Light to that role. I honestly have no idea, but that shows to me that they really still trust and value Jason Light's opinion. Especially considering that they're putting him in charge of this coaching search again. They really trust Jason Light. They feel that he was not part of this problem. They have a lot of faith in him. That's what that shows to me. That's what I think. I think Jason Light's done a lot of good things. He's done some bad things, but he's done a lot of good things for this team. He's brought in guys like Mike Evans, among others on the offensive side of the ball, O.J. Howard, Jameis Winston. He's brought a ton of people in on both sides of the ball. He's done a lot to try and give this team the talent that it needs. He brought in Jason Pierre-Paul, the first double-digit sack defensive lineman the Bucs have had since Simeon Rice in 2005. That was Jason Light. He traded for him. Light's done a lot. Light has done a lot. So I'm fine with it. I'm absolutely fine with it. But Dirk Koetter, in my opinion, did need to go. 100%. I do see somebody saying Mark Wright. I believe that is the Miami coach that just stepped down, if I'm correct. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong. Yeah. Yeah. Another super chat here from William. Honey Badger and Bruce Arians with Rex as defensive coordinator. Lol. What do you guys think about? I've seen people talk about Rex Ryan as defensive coordinator. I don't know if Rex Ryan would take a defensive coordinator job anymore since he's had the taste of being a head coach. He might just want a head coaching position. Who knows? But that would be interesting. Bruce Arians and Rex Ryan on the same coaching staff. That would be a media circus. It would give the Buccaneers instant media attention, but I don't know if that would work out that well. There are people who are saying the trend that the Bucs have been having with their coaching searches lately is a black coach and then a white coach, then a black coach, then a white coach. So following the pattern, we should have a black coach next. I think that's just pure coincidence, if I'm being honest. Koetter was the weak link in a way. He was really stubborn in certain things, and it just didn't work out. Greg Williams for defensive coordinator. I like Greg Williams. I think that he's really done some good things with the Browns. In my opinion, he should be the front runner for the Browns head coaching job. He freaking took him to 6-2 or 6-3. So I think he should be up there, but afraid not. Do we keep Winston or draft? So that's another thing that was dropped today by ESPN and all the other media sources is Jameis Winston will return in 2019 as the Buccaneers quarterback. Jason Light and Jameis Winston are both going to be back for 2019. Dirk Koetter, and assuming most of his staff is going to be gone, it'll be really interesting for guys like Brenson Buckner and Todd Monken. They might get kept. I have no idea. I wouldn't expect it, but those would be the two that I would think deserve to be kept. But guys like George Warhop, is that his name? The offensive line coach. I know his first name's George, but I don't know how to pronounce his last name. The offensive line coach, he's beyond gone. He's beyond gone. And all the other positional coaches besides Brenton Buckner, they're probably gone as well. Light is going to be leading the search for the Buccaneers head coach, Justin, to answer your question there. That's what the Buccaneers said in their statement. Jason Light is going to be leading the charge, which, hey, it'll be interesting. That means, that'll be interesting because that keeps the ties to Bruce Arians, and Jason Light's not stupid. Jason Light's a pretty smart man, so he knows what the Glazers want. The Glazers want a big, splashy signing, so he can possibly go for guys like the Harbaugh brothers. Jason Light isn't afraid to make really big trades, and if he gets approval from the Glazers to do whatever he wants, he will probably do whatever he wants. Who knows? You also got to keep in mind that Jason Light was also with the New England Patriots for a spell, so guys like Josh McDaniels probably could be an option as well. Maybe Brian Flores. I don't remember if Brian Flores and Jason Light were with the New England Patriots at the same time. That one remains... I'm not sure. I can't think of that one off the top of my head. But, could get some people from the Patriots as well. Who knows? I fully expect Jason Light to really take his time, though, because his job's going to be on the line as well, more likelier than not. If this head coach doesn't work out either, he'll probably be gone. So who knows? Are you gonna make videos on how you would attack the offseason free agency and draft? I probably will. I'll probably make it closer to around those periods though, as we get into the offseason. I don't want to like make all those videos and then have nothing to do during the offseason, you know. Would I keep Todd Monken? Me personally, I probably would. I probably would keep Todd Monken. But it would be hard. It's ultimately not really going to be up to the Bucks. It's going to be up to other teams because they're going to want Todd Monken too. And if they offer Todd Monken more money to make him a full-time offensive coordinator, or if they even offer him a head coaching position, he's going to take that 100% of the time. He's going to be a highly coveted offensive coordinator around the league. A lot of people have been raving about him and Dirk Koetter. Both of them are going to be getting jobs probably relatively quickly. So ultimately, in the case of Todd Monken, I don't think it's up to the Buccaneers. I think it's up to the rest of the league and how much of an opportunity they're going to give a guy like Todd Monken, and even Brentson Buckner, I think, to a certain degree. I think that if, put a gun to my head, if I had to decide right now, I think he's going to get a better job opportunity somewhere else, and I think he'll take it. And he's also not even under contract anymore. His contract is run out. So it's not like he's still under contract. So he's pretty much gone. He's pretty much gone, sorry to say. But if it was me, I would try and keep him. I wouldn't promote him to a head coach, not at all. I think he'll get an interview for a head coaching position, possibly with the Bucks, but it would be really hard to keep him just because of the opportunities he can get around the league now. Oh man, a lot of news snippets coming in and tweets and whatnot. I'm trying to see here. So Buccaneers GM Jason Light is leading the team's head coaching search along with the search firm Korn Ferry, led by Jed Hughes per source. Korn Ferry helped Texans with Bill O'Brien, Falcons with Dan Quinn, Chiefs with Andy Reid, Seahawks with Pete Carroll, and Jaguars with Doug Marrone. Okay, so that's actually pretty interesting. So not only is Jason Light looking for a head coach himself, he's working with a head coaching search firm, Korn Ferry. So Jed Hughes is going to be helping him, which these guys are apparently responsible for getting the Texans Bill O'Brien, which the Texans are in the playoffs right now. Falcons with Dan Quinn. Falcons have made the playoffs before. They've made the Super Bowl before. Chiefs with Andy Reid. Andy Reid and the Chiefs, they've been doing great things. Seahawks with Pete Carroll. We already know that. And Jaguars with Doug Marrone. Jaguars were in the AFC Championship game last year. So it seems like Jason Light's not going to be alone. He's going to be working with a company to help him. If anything, that to me might say that it kind of takes a little bit of the Glazers out of it. Who knows? It sounds like they're really going to trust the experts, but obviously that remains yet to be seen. Yet to be seen. But yes, Jason Light is heading it, and he's working with a firm now to find the next head coach. And it sounds like this search firm has a really impressive record. So we could very well see a guy like Bruce Arians come here. Who knows? Who knows? Wish we could watch the interviews. Oh, I don't know if you guys saw the press conference with Dirk Koetter. It was really sad. You guys should see what he said about the fans. It was actually really interesting. My thoughts on Rojo: I want him to get a chance next year. I really want him to get a chance next year. Jason Light, probably that'll be part of the interview questions is, are you going to work with the guys that I've drafted? Guys like Ronald Jones, Jameis Winston, among others. And obviously the guys who want to be a head coach, they're probably going to have to say yes. It was disappointing not to see him getting any snaps in his in the last game of the year. That was disappointing. But I think he'll be fine. I think Ronald Jones will be fine. I think he'll get the opportunity next year. I'm not going to label him a bust because we have no idea what he can do yet. So I think we should still play the waiting game. I hate that if you can't make up your mind on who's a good coach, making that diss. Wait, what? Or not, then you should not be making that diss. I'm confused, David. I mean, me personally, if I had to pick a head coach right now, I would pick Bruce Arians probably. So that'd be me. But, James, should the Bucs sign a free agent? Yes, they should sign a single free agent. I don't know who that would be. I do not know who he needs. Any good defensive backs that are veterans? Yeah. Should the Bucs sign Dwight Freeman? Isn't he retired? I thought he was retired. Thoughts on Gerald McCoy? You think he's done what he needs to do? So interesting point about Gerald McCoy. He gave his final press conference or whatever, talking to the media and whatnot, and it really looked like he sounded like he was done. He thanked the Glazers organization, talked about how, oh, I'm just a boy from Oklahoma who was able to have me live out my dream. So thanks to the Glazers for that, you know. So, who knows? He might leave, he might not. We'll see. I think still a lot of people would love to have Gerald McCoy on their team. No doubt about that in my mind. People would love to have Gerald McCoy on their team. The money's a big deal. The money's a big deal. I don't, you can clear up that money, but, that put a big hole in your defensive tackle position. Big hole. Because, yes, you have Vita Vea, who's supposed to be the successor to Gerald McCoy, but what depth do you have after that? That's a big question. And there might not be good free agent options out there. So it's up in the air. Maybe if you draft a guy like Ed Oliver, I could see something like a trade happening, but who knows? Bo Allen, I mean, yeah, I haven't necessarily been super impressed with Bo Allen to the point where I think he can be the number 2 defensive tackle. But who knows? D-Jax, yeah, D-Jax will probably be gone. Glad we lost. If we won, we would have had the 12th pick. But yeah, hey, Bucks have a top 5 pick. Whichever coach comes in, they're going to have a really nice draft pick, to draft whoever they want. But yeah, guys, I think I'm going to end off the live stream here. We've talked about a lot, talked about potential coaching options, talked about what's going to happen with the assistants, talked about Dirk Koetter and his time with the Buccaneers so far. Again, he had some really nice offenses, but 5 wins per season the last 2 seasons, that's not going to cut it under any circumstances. So Dirk Koetter has been fired. It is what it is. He's been fired. He's gone. Dirk Kutter's gone. Jason Light is going to be working with a searching firm. Just to, remind you guys, Jason Light is going to be leading this. Jason Light, Jameis Winston, they're going to be back for 2019. Dirk Koetter is not. Jason Light is going to be leading the head coaching search yet again, which to me proves that the Glazers have a whole hell of a lot of trust in Jason Light to keep on being this team's general manager. So yeah, all things considered, it's sad to see Dirk go, but it needed to happen. And now Jason Light's going to be in charge again, and it should be interesting. It should be interesting. I'm sure I'll be making live streams talking about all the rumors and whatnot. Right now, the people who are rumored to be connected to the Bucs are guys like Bruce Arians, Mike McCarthy, Jim Harbaugh, and even John Harbaugh, potentially for a trade. So those have been the guys. To the 93 people watching, seriously, thank you. That's awesome. I know this was a very short notice live stream, didn't really prepare for it, but I thank you guys for watching. That means a lot. I am going to head out now, but again, thank you guys so much for watching. And yeah, thank you guys so much for an awesome season. I can't wait for the off season now. It's going to be a lot of fun. Been working all season with you guys. We've been talking all season about stuff, and it's been a lot of fun, and I can't wait to dive into this off season with all of you guys as all these news snippets happen. It should be really fun. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Hope y'all enjoyed, and I will see you guys in the next live stream or the next video. But until then, and as always, guys, goodbye for now, and go Bucks.